Welcome to the Women Inspire Aspire podcast. In this episode, I talk to Dr. Nithya Natarajan about statistics. Hi, Dr. Nithya. Thank you for accepting my invite to be in this podcast. Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
Oh, good evening. Thank you so very much for the invite. I'm doing extremely great. Thank you. And how are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you very much. It's very interesting
Fantastic.
to talk to you today because I know you for a while in LinkedIn and I know you as a professor in a college. I was curious about your background and what you are working on. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
To tell me about myself, I'm Dr. Nithya. I'm currently pursuing my postdoctoral research under Indian Council of Social Sciences Research, which is an Indian body for offering opportunity to do research towards policy making decisions. And previously, even before joining this, I was working for an institution as a full-time professor in the Department of Management Studies. And I have a quite interesting combination because my background is statistics and management studies. So the combination statistics and management studies works well in today's scenario of analytics. So that is my domain. And research is my area of interest, and that is my core work at my college. So research is something I'm very keen about. That is all about my profession. I have almost 2 decades of experience in managerial teaching, training, and research.
Wonderful. So, what is the topic of your research?
Generally, when we have quite a long time of experience, we would not confine to a particular area. But then, if you ask me, mine is all about quantitative research. Like we take a data or a bunch of information, we culminate it, operate or process that with statistical tools and techniques. We interpret that and we bring out very meaningful interpretations and decisions based on which we can lay out policy decision making at manager levels or at organization levels.
Okay, got it. I think it's mostly to do with administration based on data.
Exactly.
Wonderful. So I read a bit about you. You mentioned that you had been born in a family with three children, and you being the only girl child, and you have been brought up in a very protective environment. It is quite interesting to know the transformation from an introvert kind of person to transforming to a person who is outspoken, a teacher, a professor, and a research person. So, can you tell us a bit about the journey that you have gone through?
Oh, that's really an interesting phase of my life. I always remember. As you said, I'm born between two brothers, one younger and one elder. And I'm the only girl who was pampered and very much protected. Like I will not even been, I would not say not allowed. There was no need to go for small things like going out to purchase something or go get something. All that, even small work will not be given opportunity for us. Generally, for me, I was grown so protective without exposure or very little exposure to the outside day-to-day activities till my school and undergrad. But then I always thank my brother for having chosen me to choose a undergraduation in the area of statistics when everybody were running behind engineering and mathematics, life sciences. That time in 2001 and 2, I chose statistics as my undergraduation, which is very different that time. And once I was getting into the college, once I boarded college, I knew from school I can always call me an introvert when I was in school. I will not give answer even when I know an answer. I would not go and talk to even my classmates who are not so close to me. I have only a bunch. Actually, I would say it's my bench. My benchmates can be my friends. That was my nature. And slowly, when I was in the verge of getting out of my school, I found that my friends are coming to me for the kind of sense of humor and for the jokes I cracked. And I found I have something attracting my friends towards me, and that is my sense of humor. And I started honing that skill. And I was very happy being an introvert when people come to you for spending time. It's really something so new. And there I found my introvertness slowly getting broken or slowly diminishing. And that is the point. That time I was a very average student. I won't even raise my questions in the classroom. That kind of child when I was in school. And that was a co-education school, so I was quite comfortable knowing the differences of both the gender. And when I was taking up my undergrad in a girls' college, it was a women's college, I found a bit of more freedom that gave me wings to attempt more activities. So slowly I could see myself popping up among the class, taking up administrative activities, organizing events, being a class representative, taking up small leadership roles, going out for any event, all that. That may be so small, maybe now when I'm talking that, but I understand all those are building blocks of who am I today. So I think that was my first step, helping me to come out of my protective bubble, which I always felt around me, though it was positive, but it was a bit difficult to come out of that. And I owe all that to my college. And there I became one of the toppers. Every semester somebody would be coming top, and in the last semester I topped the class. So I found how a personal trait would help or would support a person to excel academically or professionally for that matter. And there I found people calling me an extrovert, people calling me talkative, a witty person, all that. So slowly, the name behind my image started taking a different shade. That was the transition, I mean, the undergraduation. But the complete transition I felt in my post graduation when I stepped into PSG College of Arts and Science to do my MSc Statistics. Again, that was a co-ed, a very limited number of students. I could feel hell amount of difference where I didn't notice anything different there. Neither the gender, nor the classroom ambience, nor the kind of the protocols. Everything's quite comfortable for me. And I still remember one day my professor, when he was finishing the class, he just went near the doorsteps. He turned back and told, just call by name, Nithya, you take this topic as a seminar tomorrow. Just a word when he was just passing out of the classroom. That day I went to library, took some notes, and next day I was delivering my first classroom seminar. And I still remember a professor named B. Tangaraju. He called me, you are a perfect material for a teaching profession. And he called me teacher. From then on, he calls me teacher. And even now, my friends used to have that as a nickname. I still remember that, and I'm so proud that title stayed with me ever since my PG, and now I'm completing my almost 2 decade of career as a teaching fraternity. So from an introvert to a profession where you need to only talk, you need to convince, you need to negotiate, you need to talk to different kinds of students who are naughty, who are very good, who are so feeble. I'm so glad to see this transition, and I completely feel this helps me in taking decisions and also in managing my family as well. So this is a cherishing part of my life.
That's so wonderful to hear. From what you said, it's a sequence of small steps that had built your confidence, not one particular activity. Several different activities that you performed mostly succeeded in many aspects, which boosted your confidence, improved your ability and capabilities, which has led to this transformation. So that's so nice to hear. Tell us a bit about your sense of humor, because you mentioned that you have a sense of humor. Is it satire or?
It is, actually, I should, I should accept. Maybe when we feel something we are missing with, or when we feel we are not, like bold, or we are not so outspoken like anybody else, we try to manage a situation. I think I took the sense of humor as a supporting weapon for me to manage that I'm not like any other students in my classroom. So just to manage all these drawbacks of myself, I think I used the sense of humor, but naturally it came out to me because the presence of mind, the spontaneity. When somebody talks something, you put a counter to that, and that is what. It will not harm people. It is not so subjective. It is not so objective, but just with the flow, it will be more connected to the situation, connected to the phrases, connected to the point that we discussed. But that would be very spontaneous with the presence of mind that everybody could connect that moment, burst out of laughter, and then just move on. That is as simple as that. But then slowly I understood when I was seeing myself as a teacher in the classroom. There too, I use this witty or a sense of humor to make the students connected to my discussion. Like I would be talking something to the trend. I would be referring some kind of dialogues from the movie, or some kind of very famous phrases, or any news, something like that. But that would help me to make my process easier, make my teaching learning process easier. That helps myself to register myself as a very comfortable teacher amidst my students. So this is what I see as sense of humor. It helps me to break the ice very quickly. It helps me to allow people to interact with me very easily.
That's very interesting. So it looks like you started off with a sense of humor as a starting point to break the ice with people, managing situations and starting the conversations and stuff like that. And eventually you made it as an aid for your teaching profession. Now,
Yeah.
coming to your hobbies and interests, and also you mentioned that you are interested in reading about a lot of topics about different fields, especially since you are in the statistics. I'm curious to know
Mm.
how you are applying statistics, especially in these days of generative AI and also data analytics. Can you tell a bit about the practical applications that you are doing of all these analytics?
Very interesting question, and I find this question very important as well. At this point, I must admit, when I was finishing my undergraduation, BSc Statistics, I was not able to convey what statistics all about, where it is applied, all that. I always had that, regret when I was completing my undergraduation. But then the same me, when I completed my post graduation, I could name it a domain, name a area, name a sector. I can tell how statistics is applied. So application is something the very basic of any learning, any subject for that matter. We should know where it is applied, how it is applied. And this way, statistics is universal. Statistics is nothing far different from mathematics. It's not far away from social sciences as well. And it is perfectly a perfect blend of arts and science. I would always claim this statement. This statistics as a core domain or a subject, it is just a logical interpretation of a practical takeaways. As simple as that. There is a theory which is existing. I take few samples, or I take few model or simulated items or simulated elements, use a right set of techniques. I'm trying to extract information from these bits and pieces of information or elements. I'm trying to go back and touch the same theory which was laid years before. That is all about statistics. It just either proving or disproving a already said theory based on a very relevant, very suitable, very technically eligible information. As simple as that. So I can't express, or I can't explain statistics without logic, without analytics or analysis, and without psychological and social relevance.
Okay. What are the social topics that you're interested in, or what are the societal issues which bother you, and where would you like to make a difference?
Uh, Generally, I should always mention, when I was able to understand statistics in a detailed manner, blending with psychological and social subjects, or generally social sciences for that matter, sociology or psychology or management, personal, social work, all that. When I understood this, apart from managerial subjects, like apart from HR or organizational behavior, operations, I found statistics to be there in every act of a society and in every act of an individual. Say, for example, now we have everyone having the mobile phone on hands, right? Everyone is having mobile phone. When you see a bunch of students or a bunch of friends, you could see all their heads put down with the mobile phone facing their face individually. That is a group sitting, but the group would not be interacting. Each one would be interacting with their own mobile. And that is a very renowned topic called as social isolation in psychology. So this is a perfect example how people who are in society are very well isolated, but they would claim to be, like relationships are not happening, bonds are not so strong nowadays, people are not genuine, people are not trustworthy. They tell all these kind of statement, but the problem is they are not mingling. And what is stopping them? There is something stopping them. So, this concept of social isolation, I recently took it as a study. I'm working with one of my students on this topic called social isolation, where we have a set of questions. I would say we call it as technically an instrument or a questionnaire, and we float that, we collect information from that, and we understood that almost not only younger generation now, even senior people, everybody are getting into social isolation. Though they are living as a family or though they are sitting as a friends, they are not connected, they are socially isolated. This statistics as a tool helps us to prove or disprove the statement whether people are socially isolated or not. The bigger research, what I'm doing right now, as I told in the beginning, I'm pursuing my postdoctoral research. Lot of untapped areas are there which were not very properly recognized or very properly studied because of lack of the need or because of lack of the availability of information. There were a lot of areas which were not touched by the researchers. In that case, I found road safety as one of the topics. I think this is 2 years before, happened to teach a course called the business analytics to my students. I wanted to give them an exposure of A to Z, like from data to documentation. I wanted to give them an exposure. So we took a real-time project wherein everybody knows this area called as Topur near Dharmapuri in the highway, the Dharmapuri Bangalore highway, which is very much in news for accidents. We had a chance through one of my known network. We spoke to the government officials, police department and the regional transport office. We happened to get 10 years of accident data set, FIR accident data set. And using my students, we did a survey as well, understanding what are the factors that is causing accident in that particular area. For that, we did a survey among 450 drivers who pass by that highway, that Ghat section, Topur Ghat section. Generally, a data from government, we will not be able to get it. But this time, the team, the officials wanted to make some no radical shift. So they wanted to make some analysis. So they gave the data to us. We applied statistical softwares and business intelligence softwares, and we did a report, a research report on that, and we presented that to the team. And very fortunate, we got an opportunity to present that research report to then collector Mrs. Divyadashini, and when we were presenting that, it was a very warm and welcoming, response from the entire administrative team of the district. And now, recently, we happen to understand through news that there is a flyover which has been allotted for that Topur Ghat section. So this is one simple example where road safety is an area which is not being very formally taken up under research, because the complete road safety is under governance, and getting a data from the governance is not the easy one. And number two, people are not that bothered about the rules and regulations, at least in our country, I would say. So that becomes very difficult to extract the right amount of data. This is second one. And third one, there is no proper database where we can go and fetch information about accidents, information about road safety parameters, all that. Maybe if you ask a financial report of a company, name it any company, you can get the financial report, the profit and loss account of any company. We have excellent database being structured and available to the researchers. So there are areas like this, and I'm so fortunate that I'm currently pursuing my postdoctoral research in the area of road safety and accident analysis. So there are some areas like this which are in much need of a research and analysis or output based on data. I think we would be we have more opportunity to do and take the country to next level. So these are a few areas I'm just telling. Individual people traits, social issues, like as I told you, social isolation, and then now everybody are talking of depression, stress, anxiety, all that. So these are the areas now slowly getting into the limelight of research, which was not years before.
Wonderful. That's fantastic. It's great that you are working on road safety and you are making a difference. I'm pretty sure that your research will be very valuable for the upcoming generations. Now, one thing I want to mention that is, even though there are research that is being done in some of these areas, follow-up action or the enforcement is another thing that is not there, that is pending,
Exactly.
that needs to
Exactly.
be done. In your case, you mentioned that they are building a flyover in Topur to take care of the accidents. Likewise,
Yeah,
every research should have a follow up action so that we can see the improvement of the situation from what it was before. If that happens, I think we'll be in a very good situation.
definitely.
I think we have had a very great discussion. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, I have a question. Can I understand what motivated you to take this podcast? Because the one thing which I like to very much in this is you invite people from different walks of life, and when you put their life before people, I always believe in one statement: if you want to make mistakes in your own life and learn from it, one life would not be sufficient. You should learn from others' life as well. I strongly believe in that. So in that way, what motivated you to take this as a theme for your podcast? Can I understand that?
I like talking to people. I like getting different perspectives from different walks of life. Podcast is one way of having that experience. That is my motivation. And the other motivation, the primary motivation is to give a chance for people to express themselves. They are doing great work. In their own ways, they are making a difference in the society. But they are not getting the opportunity to express that, or whatever problems or issues that they are facing, they are not able to talk it out. So I want to give an opportunity for people to come and express themselves in my podcast. That is my primary motivation. And of course, since I like to talk to people, in fact, I have a couple of podcasts. One is this one, the other one is a tech podcast where it's a deep tech. We talk only about technology and software testing and quality, and the latest topics like large language models and Gen AI and GPTs and things like that, and the security and other aspects involved with that. So I'm primarily a tech person. So I have a tech podcast also where I post
Fantastic.
videos in YouTube. So that is my motivation. I like to talk to people. I want to learn. It's mutual. So we all learn from each other. So talking is a great way of having conversations, and discussing ideas is a great way of growing together and improving the society. So I think that's my primary motivation.
Superb, superb. You are 100% right. When I was, just for the half an hour, when I was talking, it was like I'm living back my life, like from my school. I could still remember visually the bench where I was sitting, and it's reliving the moments. Yeah, true. I'm not telling for the
No,
fact,
no,
but
no. I
that,
understand.
yeah, that
In
is
fact,
really
everybody tells that.
fantastic. Thanks for that opportunity actually, because without question, we would not search for all these moments, which is all cherishable, hidden in the day busy schedule.
Yes, absolutely. Do you have anything to, as an advice or a tip to share with the listeners?
Yeah, maybe I could not say it's an advice, but maybe I can tell it as an experience. That is one thing predominantly I believe is we should observe. Keep observing where you fall. Keep observing where you raise. When we observe ourselves, we would be able to understand what pulls us, and what pushes us. Obviously, we would be elated to understand our strength, and we keep investing on our strength just to learn and just to pick up to retain good things with us and to ignore whichever is pulling down. That is number one. And number two, once we are aware of our strength and weakness, try to invest more on the strength. We should be always aware of the strength, and we should always play with the strength. That is what I always feel. And third one is we should try to have a balance between personal and professional life. Yeah, that is important, but then make sure the strength or the nature of a person has to be complementing both personal and professional. That is very an important concern I always have. Say for example, when I'm doing good at office, that would automatically elevate my personal morale. When I'm personally very much happy and proud about myself, I would keep my family happy. I would do my family course happily, and that would again push me to do more at my work. So it's a circle. It's a loop kind of a thing. I don't believe in keeping family and profession aside as a two distinct areas. Generally, there should be a proper blend between personal and professional life, and that balance brings an immense satisfaction in all the walks of life, whether you are a professional or you are a family member. That gives an utmost satisfaction that helps you to earn respect, not only in your workplace, even at your family. That will help you to earn respect, and that is what I always maybe that is what I follow, I would say. So these three things I strongly very much keen about and believe in. And finally, try to look things at macro level. As I told you, now life have a lot of ups and downs. If at all you have asked me what is your bad day, how was your day, was I would be like having very less references. Since you asked about my life, that's a macro experience. When I look back, all the good things popped up. That really motivated me now. So let us
Okay.
look the life at a macro level instead of looking it at a micro level.
Those were great tips. Wonderful. Thank you so much for your inputs and time. I really appreciate your effort and spending time with us. Thanks a lot, Dr. Nithya, and I wish you all the best for your future, whatever you are aspiring to do for. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for this opportunity. I don't think I have rendered anything, but then I felt like I lived my life back. It was really motivating. And the day really, had so much of value. And my special appreciation for making this attempt. And I'm very sure you are adding more value to not only to the people to whom you are talking, to the entire, audience as well.
Thank you. Bye. That was a great podcast with Dr. Nithya Natarajan. Please subscribe to this channel and follow it for more awesome podcasts. Opinions expressed by the guests in this podcast are their own. The host or the sponsors of the podcast do not condone the opinions expressed by the guests or the actions arising out of those opinions. Any decisions or actions that the listeners might take as a result of listening to this podcast must be based on their own judgment and will be at their own risk. The podcast host or their sponsors will not be held responsible for the consequences of any actions and or decisions taken as a result of any content in this podcast.